We headed in to Wentworth Springs Road towards Airport Flat, towards the backside of the original entrance of the Rubicon Trail on a Sunday morning on our first snow in mid-November. We were starting to think we weren't going to find any snow at all with the way the day began, but as you can see here, we did eventually find what we were looking for. It's John, and I'm at the Rubicon trailhead. We're not going on the Rubicon today, but we're going up that way towards Mckinstry for some snow wheeling. Stay tuned and go wheel. I've heard reports from people today already that there's like no snow on Wentworth Springs Road, that there's a little bit on Hartless Pass. We might have to go all the way to Airport Flat, which is not the end of the world. I was just hoping we didn't have to go that far. I was kind of hoping we'd hit snow way before Airport Flat. We'll see what happens. I'm with some really cool guys from the Gold Country Broncos. And I showed up a little bit late today, which sucks. Just rolling into Stumpy Meadows real quick. Stumpy is awesome. Was the Ford with us? All right, so I'm hoping we find some good snow today, but we'll see. The weather is perfect. Got a break in the storm, and this is kind of the first big snow of the year. I've seen reports of decent amount of snow up high, and I'm curious to see how high we have to go today and how far we got to go to hit snow. So far, we haven't really hit any snow. I mean, I don't really count this. This is just ice on the road, basically. It's like an inch. I did figure that once we start coming down the backside of Hartless, that we'll start actually getting a little bit of snow. All right, we're on Icehouse Road. So we're heading towards Airport Flat. There's like a skim of snow on the ground, which makes the roads just solid ice. I was really hoping that we would hit like 6 to 8 inches by now. We haven't. You know, all the reports said that north of 80 got hit harder than south of 80, and I think that's definitely true because we are seeing almost no snow.
Wentworth Springs actually takes a right here, but we're going to go left. It's on the paved road. Copy.
Are we at Airport? Because I know like there's that right turn before Airport that's like the original route, and then this road will come all the way around to the paved part where this hooks up with, and then that we could hit Wentworth again right there.
Yeah, exactly. Report on good is go past the second turn out of Wentworth, the Springs campground, and we'll fence up.
So we just passed Airport Flat. We're still kind of climbing. I think we're gonna air down right here. Okay, so he was in that. Okay.
Stay here down here.
Everybody here's got the Morphlate stuff. So this road turns off of Wentworth Springs Road and is called, I believe, Old Soda Springs Road. It used to go to Soda Springs a long time ago, but it no longer does. The road just kind of dead ends. It gets really tight and really narrow here, as you can see, and then we did have a turnout spot. I was at this point ready to go home for the day because we weren't finding any real snow, just kind of icy roads. And then you can see here, we turned around and now we're heading towards Wentworth Springs campground. We're on the road that heads to the Wentworth Springs entrance of the Rubicon. Oh, here's the Rubicon Trail entrance. We're going that way.
You got John back there?
Yeah, I'm back here. I'm just cruising kind of slow. So as we started to head towards Mckinstry Lake, things started to get promising. We started to hit deeper patches of snow as we climbed and climbed. And as we approached 6,500 feet, we actually started hitting some decent snow. And I started to get excited.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is absolutely beautiful, man. This right here was worth the drive. Now that we're climbing and hitting some snow, this is so rad.
So the snow did get deeper as we continued to climb, and you can see here that the road itself became a little more of a shelf road, but we're still also riding in tracks from some unknown rigs that are in front of us that we were unaware of. But we were wondering where these tracks were coming from because this storm had just hit over the weekend, and we came up Sunday morning on the first non-stormy day. It's incredibly peaceful to watch this video and super relaxing for me to kind of just see like that quiet winter wonderland out there. Even though we're not pushing fresh powder, it's still an amazing day run for a snow run. Between the trees crowding in from both sides and the snow cover, it actually feels a little ominous going through this section. So with the ice below the fresh snow, you tend to slide to whatever direction the trail is slightly off camber to, which was a concern for me today because there were a few different times where I actually started sliding towards like trees that were either downed or hanging over, and there were a couple times where I was worried about actually knocking out a window. So I did at one point put all my windows down and was driving, with the heater on and the heated seats on, which is nice, but to avoid from smashing any windows in this fancy newer JL. So the best part of snow wheeling is when you're breaking fresh trail through fresh powder. But the second best part of snow wheeling is getting to see scenery like this, getting to see these snow-covered hillsides. You're so far from anyone or anything, and you're sort of out here in the middle of nowhere, so far from civilization. And you kind of know that if you didn't have a decently built rig, you would have been stuck a long time ago. So it's sort of like this smaller selection of folks who get to experience stuff like this, like deep past the Rubicon Trail. It's funny because I love off-roading, I love wheeling, but I'm also afraid of heights and I hate shelf roads. And so every time I snow wheel, especially with icy pack below the fresh snow and you're sliding a lot, I always get extremely anxious. And so this section of the trail, I was actually quite anxious as the rig would kind of slide the rear end a little bit.
I might actually turn around right here and try to get home before this migraine gets way worse and cut my losses. Got to snow wheel a little bit for sure. It's been a great time with you guys, but I don't want to keep going and get really bad deep out there.
Understood. Well, you're comfortable and by yourself. That's good. Otherwise, I'll have to follow you.
Yeah, I'll radio or wait for you guys if that happens. Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. Have fun, and I'll kind of keep an eye on maybe the group or something, or maybe a text from work when you guys get out today, just to make sure you got out safely.
So on this section of the trail, no matter what I did, the rear end kept trying to slide downhill. and I ended up just creeping this basically at idle the whole way down for a couple hundred yards with the tires and the fresh powder on the left side pointed about 30-40 degrees uphill, and anything else, and the rig would just start sliding towards the edge of the hillside. It's hard to tell in the video. It wasn't quite as bad in the video as how it felt in the rig, but I also feel at the same time this is probably the best video shot that I got of the day. Just seeing that epic mountainside covered in snow in the distance, seeing the kind of shelf on the right, and then just seeing the deep snow in front of us, I feel like it just looks awesome. A good snow run will give me a nice reset, and when I get back to work next week, everything at work seems super mellow compared to being concerned about maybe sliding down a shelf road and falling down that cliff. A lot of snow out here. I end up turning around a little bit early, started to get a migraine. I think it's mostly starting to go away because I took some Tylenol, but it's actually some pretty good snow at the higher elevations. It was funny because going up there, the rear got a little light a couple times, but coming down, we were coming down this ridge, and the rear end kept wanting to slide out on me. So it's just solid ice right now. Like I don't know if it's hard to see. A lot of ice, but there is some good deep snow around the sides. I haven't been on like a real snow run, I feel like, in a couple years since before I hit my head. So this is really the first snow run for me. First time with a whole lot of ice in a long time. So just getting used to the rig again, I guess. Getting used to snow wheeling in a different rig too. It's a little different than my crawler. I had a great time with the Gold Country Broncos. It was Mark, Ben, I think Thomas, and Anita. Super cool people, super fun. They're still wheeling, so I'm going to keep an eye on social media and make sure that I text Mark later tonight just to make sure they got out. I think they're heading towards McKinnstry, so I would say for a first snow run in 2 years, it was a great time. We didn't hit snow until pretty high elevation though. I mean, decent snow. All right, we're getting to that time of the year where it's snow wheeling season, and you need to make sure that you are bringing adequate recovery gear, sleeping bags, extra food, hand warmers, lots of extra clothing, communication devices, maybe including, I like to bring a sat phone for a potential emergency to make sure that I can call out in case I get stuck out here, slide off a cliff, get stuck really bad by myself, something of that nature.